Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back early Sunday morning, prospect of the week. And we are, well, first of all, thank you for being either a Patreon or a YouTube member. We are next up in our prospect of the week series. Thank you for supporting us. We're talking about Jalon Walker, force player, Georgia. I want to use the term force player. You call him linebacker, you call him edge rusher. He's a force player. Right? He's a force player. And I watched him a little bit in November. Watched both him and Mikael Williams a little bit in November. And I put a tweet out basically saying that I like them both a lot as players, but to me, I felt like they were both very team-specific players. And as the process was going on a little bit, I think I had started leaning a little bit towards Mikael. But in watching Jalon Walker for this episode, whew, oh my God. He is by far, he's one of the best players in this entire NFL draft.
Agreed.
He is a player where if you do not get an Abdul Carter, you would probably feel very content getting a Jalon Walker. I don't think he's like. It's funny because like there are some games I watch where I felt like it feels like he lumbers a little bit. It's weird. Like I like watching him, I feel like he lumbers, but like he's still incredibly like explosive. As with Abdul Carter, like he is obviously super explosive. But he is a tremendous player. And I just don't think. I'll be honest. I don't think he's going to be there right now. I don't think he's going to be there right now at all.
Neither me, man. Neither me. But you look, we'll get to that. I went to this kind of fresh. Like I watched very little of him like a while back. I thought he was more like I just kind of looked at him like, okay, he's an off-ball guy that can make some plays, kind of like a Zach Bond. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. So I didn't really like put much time into his tape. So for this project, I said, okay, I'm gonna find every piece of tape I could find on him. Man, boy, like he is such a disruptor. You know, when he is going, is he an edge rusher? Is he off the ball? Like I don't know, because the Georgia defense is so funky. The way they use players, they move them all around. They got so many dogs, like underclassmen and stuff like that, that they be moving in. So you don't. It's hard to get like a beat on a certain player, but like when you watch him, pretty much wherever he's lined up, he's disrupting shit. Like
Disrupting, bro.
when he's off the ball and he's coming downhill, he's blowing up guards. He's getting double teamed. He's working through trash, constantly affecting the quarterback, blowing up run plays, playing the spy. For running quarterbacks.
Oh my God, he's so good at that, bro. He's
Like
elite, bro.
like tracking him down. Like, and he's so good at like sometimes when he's off ball, he'll like just kind of like wait and be patient and like let the play go out. And when that RPO action happens and it's boom, it's like just gone, like going making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Like it's like, how the hell did you get there, bro? Like what the hell? You know what I'm saying? He is a fun player, bro. Like he's one of the I put in the Discord. I was like, he's a LOL player. Like when you watch, you just chuckle. Like this motherfucker just going crazy, man. Like I watched like the Texas game, like those two games I watched where he just took like that Texas game, he just took over that bitch. Like he was just going crazy and that's what I really like. Like was a prospect, if you could just show me where you just take over a game, offense or defense, where you just go in a game and you be like, I'm just taking over this motherfucker.
Yes.
You love seeing that as a prop. That's what moves you up to the upper level as a
Sure.
prospect. Like, okay, this is somebody that can take over a game at the highest level of where they played at. He could do that. I've seen him do it twice. I've seen him do it against Texas and Kentucky.
He, uh, our dude Kevin Mendoza said, Jalen just be standing there like Michael Myers menacingly. Just start flying when you look away for 1 second, bro. Yes.
Standing there like,
Yes.
boom. Just, you know,
um,
right when Mike was standing behind the bush.
yeah.
It's like
What you gonna do? Um, Brock said he's the defensive Ashton Genty. I, it's just I was trying to come up with a comp for him, and I, so I told J1 last night, and then I feel like I had to walk it back because I felt it was a little too good. So I
I
feel
got
like I
one
have to.
too. I want to hear yours. I got one.
Okay, so I'll tell you the one I gave her last night, and then the one I have now kind of settled on. I feel like last night I said he reminds me of a combination if you took the off-ball linebacking skills of Patrick Willis and the defensive end skills of DeMarcus Lawrence. But then I
Hmm.
felt, but then I was like, no, like I was like Pete Willie was like one of my best linebacking prospects of all time, and I loved him at Ole Miss, and now he was the first ballot Hall of Famer. So I walked it back to a Roquan Smith.
Mm.
Which still I love rope. And listen, we have had a blind spot for linebackers, right?
Oh yeah.
You and I have had a very big blind spot for linebackers. Roquan was I feel like he was a very easy linebacking prospect. Like
Yeah.
just went top 10. So I feel like he is a mix of if you take just the off ball linebacking skills of Roquan Smith and but he can go down in a 3 point stance and also rush the passer, kind of like Demarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys of kind of being like a force player. Like that's an impressive fucking prospect, bro. Or the one I was thinking about this morning is Xavier Collins that the Cardinals drafted, and then you multiply that times like 50.
Hey.
Because Xavier Collins went 16 overall in the draft. And that makes sense because with Jalen Walker, he's slated to go top 10, top 10, so that's about 50%. So that it just makes sense, right? And
Yeah.
Xavier Collins was a great prospect. He was a great athlete. And I know Walker is going to absolutely put on a fucking show next week at the combine. He's going to blow
Oh.
that bitch up.
Oh yeah. No question. No question. My comp for him was somewhere between USC Clay Matthews
Ooh,
and I had to go find like some Clay Matthews clips from USC
that's
because
good.
because he reminded me of Clay Matthews, especially like when he was at Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When he first came on the scene, he was used as an edge rushing outside linebacker, and they would move him to off the ball linebacker
Yes, that's
sometimes,
good,
and
bro.
he would blitz up the middle and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
Their
so good.
size, their size very similar. Clay might have long arms, but Jalon got some long arms. I
Long,
can tell.
long, long,
Yeah,
bro. Just long.
long, bro. We'll see. Like we'll see what the measurements come in, but he's what I mean. College measurements say he's like 6'2", 245. We'll see what the real measurements are. I don't know what it's gonna be. He looks big. He plays big. I don't know what I like. He plays big, but you can tell he's more of an undersized. Like that'll probably be like his only knock as a pure pass rusher. There'll be probably people that be like, is he kind of undersized as a pass rusher, purely a pass rusher? I don't
And
know,
that,
bro.
and I think, well, here's the thing: if you are trying to box him into one single position, that's where you're fucking yourself up. That's
Yeah.
what you can't do with a player like Jalen Walker in the NFL. And it's a delicate balance, right? Because
Ooh, it is.
you can't. you don't want to Hassan Reddick him. You don't want to Isaiah Simmons him like the Cardinals did with a lot of the tweener players that they drafted and messed up. But in the NFL, we talked about in our last episode how 3-4s and all that, and that's kind of outdated. But in the NFL, as a defense, you do want to be multiple, right?
Exactly.
You want to have a multiple defense that you throw out at offenses. And with Jalon Walker, he allows you as a player, he allows you to be extremely, extremely multiple. If you're only listening to the audio version of this podcast, we have the graphic up with his measurables. So he's allegedly, and we'll find out, it'll be confirmed next week at the combine, 6'2", 245 pounds. It has his game logs. Don't really pay attention to the PFF, his overall grade. It just has his snaps by assignment. So in 2024, by assignment, he had 249 snaps on the D line, 61 snaps at the slot, and then 311 in the box, which I would assume probably meaning at the off-ball linebacker position.
Right. So
Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, like, just look at 61 snaps at the slot. Like this, it's like
What was Kirby Smart doing?
like what are we doing here, bro? So it's like, you can't really PFF scout with him. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-mm.
it's you got to watch him. You got
You
to watch his
you
tape.
can't you cannot box score us. Like if you just look at this box score right here, you go, oh, he had 60
Six and a
tackles,
half. Yeah.
60 tackles for the season, 10 and a half tackles for loss, and 6.5 sacks for the season. That does not show you the impact that he had on games throughout
Right.
the season. It does not show you that at all. I can guarantee you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%, man. 100%. It's crazy though because like I before like the major coaching changes with the Saints and all that stuff, I was like, stay away from players like this. Just because of the way the Saints
Mm-hmm.
defense has been for years, stay away from players like this. But because we've seen them,
What
like
what is going on back there?
that is my cat. Lola, what are you doing? I don't know what she be up there. I don't know what she be doing, bro.
Like making a
Going crazy up there. But but like players like this, I would be I would fear he would get Zach Bond or something like this. Like if he was still under DA or something like that. So that's why I really didn't even give much time to watching this tape early in the process. But now that they've the Saints have hired Brandon Staley as of this week, there's gonna be some major changes to the defense, man. Like not so much about the 3-4-4-3, but
right.
just the way like the Saints have always been like this prototypical big D line,
Mm-hmm.
big DN, big edge rusher, uh, two linebackers, man coverage corners, big long cornerbacks, play multiple coverages in the background. They've been that type of defense. This is a completely different change. Like Brandon Staley, allegedly, like he retooled his thoughts and coaching beliefs since he was a DC with the Rams, but he's gonna come in. He's gonna do a lot of pattern matching on the coverage. He's gonna mix up things on the defensive line as far as like you're gonna see probably more zero tackles, like D tackles at the zero spot, like a nose. You're gonna see some stand up on the outside, some guys standing up. It's gonna be interesting, man. So like, but Jalon, I mean, if you go look back at his Rams defense, they brought in Leonard Floyd that year, and
Yeah,
he had a good year. He had like 10 and a half
he
sacks
did.
that year.
He did.
And look, I mean, look, that's another Georgia player, similar size to Jalon. I think Floyd is what 6'3",
Mm-hmm.
255, I think, or something like that. Similar kind of style players. And like Brandon Staley could use a player like Jalon Walker, bro. Like, like for what he wants to do, he could definitely use that, bro. Like, and just to me, somebody said like, is he the Aston Gentile of the defensive side? I wouldn't say that because Gentile is just so clean of a prospect,
Yes.
and I don't know if Jalon is that clean. He's clean,
Clean.
but he's not that clean.
Right.
But I will say that just like Genty would give the offense an identity immediately, I think
Mm-hmm.
Jalon would give the
Oh,
defense an identity
a dog, bro.
immediately. Just
Yes,
that dog, physical, like, and then for everything I hear, he's like smart,
athleticism, bro. He,
athleticism, or what we've been complaining about for years: athletic quarterbacks, slow defense. He solves that issue. Like
oh,
he solves that issue immediately.
immediately. So let's see if this works. I wanted to pull up a play that almost made me leap off my feet when I saw it when I was scouting him. But sometimes I know sharing shit doesn't work all the time. All right. So there was this play against Clemson. The quality probably looks like shit. I apologize if it does. It's third and one. Clemson has third and one. It's a pretty important drive. This is the first game of the season, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They're down 20-3 against Georgia. They need to get something going offensively. It's third and one. They call like a quarterback keeper, kind of like a Taysom play that to the quarterback. Okay, ball is snapped. Jalon is getting, you can't really see it. He's getting
Yeah,
held and makes an absolutely insane play. 71 is holding him. He's
holding
holding
him.
him. His jersey is being grabbed. Gets off the block. Still disengages and makes the fucking play, bro. I looked off the couch, nigga. Like,
And it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Just the amount of tenacity he plays with. And the thing is, he does that all the time. I saw
yeah,
plays like that all the time where I can't remember if it was against Kentucky or Texas. I can't remember where he's like coming in from like the A gap, engages the guard, and he's knocking his guard back. Knocking his guard back. The running back has to divert and come to the side. He pushes the guard back while being held, and then tackles the running back while he's being held by the guard. So like this is like you said, a forced player, bro. Like
force
this is a
player, bro.
dude that's just gonna disrupt all the mesh that's in the front of the line, man.
What? And the thing, we're talking glowingly about him. I do think um, he's not a player that. The thing that will worry you about him, and you have as a defensive coordinator, you're going to have to manage this with the NFL, with being a very matchup-driven league. Him being potentially matched up against a running back, against NFL tight ends. That's where you might get in trouble with him early in his career. Him
Right.
getting line, you know, against a former teammate. If I'm the Raiders, I'm saying, hey, Brock Bowers, your former teammate, I need you to go cook him. Like I'm going to try to exploit Walker in coverage. Things like that, and him being in coverage. Listen, at least, I mean, not to make the comparison, but Zach Bond, when he was making that change to off-ball linebacker with the Saints, that was the thing that initially was made him look very gross when he was trying to cover running backs very early in his career. Magically, somehow he gets to Philadelphia, and then he just becomes the greatest covering running backs and tight ends of all time. But, but those are like the things that are going to be worrisome about him as a player early in his career is being matched up in coverage because you're gonna be in coverage in the NFL. It's just gonna happen.
Yep. Especially if depending how you deploy. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be, a outside linebacker type, they're gonna be, as an offense is gonna challenge you. They're gonna say, okay, we're gonna spread you out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go, 11 personnel or something like that. Try to spread you out and try to get you out of the pass rush responsibility. That's what they're gonna
Right.
try to do to you. So he's gonna have to hold up, you know what I'm saying? Or, the defense coordinator gonna have to find ways to be creative to keep him out
Hide them.
of yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I kinda hide him and keep him out of disadvantaged situations.
Um. So then it becomes interesting because I said at the beginning of this podcast, I just in what I watched and just knowing how I know he's going to test, I would be shocked if he's there at 9. I'd be shocked, bro. I just know how the NFL is. I could. I was texting you. I could see him going as high. to the Jets. Like he
Yep.
makes so much sense going to the Jets with Aaron Glenn, um, being just dropped right in the middle of that defense. You had Quinn Williams, you have Jalon Walker behind him, you have Sauce Gardner. Then you have essentially every level of your defense essentially accounted for. It makes a lot of sense for the Raiders. I, I'll say this: I feel like he's earmarked for the Raiders as a Pete Carroll pick, unless the quarterback, unless Shador falls to the Raiders, um, and Shador is like right there, and they just love Shador in Las Vegas for some reason. He just feels like a Raiders pick.
He does.
Um, Wayne said if that makes Mason Graham drop, though. So here's the crazy thing: the two teams I would feel you'd have to be the most worried about for Mason Graham is Jacksonville and the Jets. If he gets past Jacksonville at 5, and the Jets goes Jalen Walker, then like the Mason Graham falling thing could actually become a possibility
Yeah.
potentially. I also think Walker makes a lot of sense for the Carolina Panthers that we talked about, right?
100%.
I didn't bring this up for a comparison. He would feel very Thomas Davis 2.0 pro.
Oh. Please, God, no. Please, though. That's what I was thinking of, though. When I said, like, man, I could just see the Panthers taking him. He would definitely be just another Thomas Davis that'll play there for like 10 years and torment the hell out of the Saints. Just for
Would he,
years,
bro?
bro.
You can see it, bro.
You can just see it, man. And everything I hear about him, he's like, got the dog mentality, super smart, like, football junkie, all the good things. DJ did say on that conference call that he's dealing with something, some kind of injury or something
Oh,
like that. So DJ wasn't sure how much he's going to be at the combine. He's going to be doing
ah,
things. We just wasn't sure how much
how
he
much?
was going to do. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, bro, like at the combine, like if he run and the 3 cone and all that stuff, man, he should shine. Like I have no doubt in my mind that he's gonna shine. And once that happens, like who knows? Like it's just like man, picking that 9 is like damn, we just right there on the outside looking in, bro. Like damn, like couldn't miss that kick against the Giants. I mean, couldn't let
Thank,
that kick
thank,
go through against the Giants or whatever. I can't remember the
thank,
game. I don't know.
yeah, it was the Giants. Thanks, Breesy. Thank,
Damn, Breezy. Now you won't make a play. Shit.
thanks, Breesy.
Man, right there on that edge looking out. We can pick a 7th, I'll be feeling better right now. But just 9 is just right there.
Bro, if we pick a 7th, we really would be talking about Walker, Mason Graham, Will Johnson. Like, I mean, we could like they still might end up with Will Johnson, but like
Mm,
it's a much different conversation.
much different conversation.
Um, so getting back to our questions, Jalen Walker, does he have juice?
Oh, yeah. He got juice on defense, bro. Juicy. Like, he got juice, man. Like, I'm trying to think of the last time the Saints defense had juice like that. You let out, like, I'm trying to think.
I mean,
Uh,
Demario, like his first
DeMario.
season,
Yeah, DeMario when he first got there.
yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Um,
Um,
yeah, that's kind of like the. I mean, it, not like in a weird like. Not saying that like Marshawn didn't have juice because he
yeah.
obviously
Oh,
did,
yeah.
but
But you know what I mean? It's kind of like,
he's different, bro. Like he's like no pun intended, but like he's just a dog, man. Like
right.
he's just ferocious.
Like,
Um,
we watch games on NFL on Sunday, and there's just every a game every night and then where it's just like, God damn, this player is wrecking shop every time I look. Like, what the hell? Like, he's potentially that type of player. Like, just
yes,
like, oh my God, this
yes,
guy is destroying his team right now.
yes. You have to squint when you watch him.
A little, just because of how he's used in so many
Yeah,
different ways. You
yeah,
know, it's like, where's 11? Where's 11? Oh,
yeah.
oh, he's right there. Okay, that's
Okay.
so you got to squint a little bit because depending on where he lines up, the rules and what he's asked to do changes. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If he's lined up on the edge, I'm just looking to see how he's going to rush the pass or stop the run. That's all. When he's off ball, I'm looking at how he engages the guard, how he redirects traffic. So you do have to squint a little bit. You do have to put like your scouting hat on and really, and really just. But what's easy to see is just how disruptive he is. Like you don't have to
Super
squint for
disruptive,
that.
bro.
He's just like, okay, he's disruptive as hell. Like you're gonna notice that he immediately.
Soon as you put on the tape. Um, so I asked Ryan to create our clouds for these episodes thus far of where we are feeling prospect wise. So let's share our clouds.
Just a note, I don't know if mine is accurate to the like previous episodes. I took editorial considerations and lined mine up how I'm feeling today. God damn it,
Uh,
that's how I
yeah,
feel today.
Tet was high. Tet was above Mikel on yours.
Not today. Shit.
So this is where our clouds are as of today, and not based off of the episodes, based off of today in terms of our clouds. Um, so my clouds, just based off the prospect of the week episodes thus far, just in terms of the prospects that we've talked about, in my order, if we pick nine, the order I would have them: Will Johnson, Ashton Genty, Jalon Walker, Tetsuo McMillan, Mikel Williams, Jackson Dart, and then Ryan's Cloud, Ashton Genty, Jalen Walker, Will Johnson, Mikel Williams, Ted McMillan, and Jackson Dart. So I want to preface this by saying I would probably, in a vacuum, I probably would have had Jalen Walker above Ashton Genty. The thing that kept me from putting him above there, above Genty, is Genty to me is just a much cleaner prospect.
Exactly. That was my exact thought. I was like, but man, you just don't have to think about him, bro. Like it's
Not
just
a,
like we could argue about running back value. Can we wait? They got other running backs in this draft. Blah 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 blah. Get all that, but just purely as a prospect, plug and play. Don't have to think. Play for you for 5 years. Start day one. Provide you great production. It's Ashton Dixie, man. Like it's just a good pick. Like it would just be a good pick that you don't have to think about.
yeah. I went Will. I'm. Well, I have Will Johnson because I feel like his 2023 tape, even though his 2024 tape wasn't as good, his 2023 tape was like exceedingly stellar, elite
Mm-hmm.
cornerback play.
Yeah.
Um, and in terms of just value in the NFL, I feel like that is insanely valuable. But watching Walker makes it extremely fascinating because I was watching him and I was like, damn, he's one of the best players in this draft. I
Oh
truly
yeah.
believe it.
Truly
Truly believe
believe it.
that.
Truly believe it. Like Abdul Carter has him like as far as like the size. Like Abdul Carter just got like the whole package.
Mm.
Where as far as you got the size, the length, the explosiveness, you see him play like edge rusher a lot. Like so that's what kind of like puts Abdul Carter above him. But like Jalon is just like it's not like a far drop after that. It's like
It's
Jalon's
not.
like because I had almost the same experience, when we watched Abdul Carter like way early in the process
Yeah,
when he was like considered to go like around where we drafted.
yeah.
I was like, man, this man ain't gonna be there. This man,
Ain't no way.
Abdul Carter, this dude just a beast,
Ain't no
And
way.
I had almost the same feeling when I really dove into Jalen Carter, like, oh man, somebody gonna take it before
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. So just looking at this cloud, the players who are more more than likely are going to be there at nine are more than likely Genty. I would still be I would be so surprised if a team took Tetsuroa before 9.
Mm,
Maybe some team does. Maybe some team does. But I would be surprised. And then you have Mikel, you have Jackson Dart, and then Will Johnson. To me, that's going to be the wild card because I think a lot of that's going to be predicated on what happens next week
yeah,
at the
yeah,
combine in terms of how he looks
nah,
and what have you.
no question.
Um, so, and then obviously, if you've been listening to this series, you know that at least some of their cloud. When I say their cloud, I mean the Saints cloud. Two players that they really, really love in their cloud that they are hoping to be there is McMillan and Will Johnson. Those other two players being Abdul Carter and Mason Graham, who we have not even put Mason Graham on any of our lists to do these episodes because we just always assume that he's going to be taken before. But maybe we'll put him on a list and do an episode on Mason Graham because maybe who knows? We never know with the NFL draft. Maybe he does slip. Maybe he is there at 9.
Yeah,
And if he is
like
there at
DJ
9,
talked about.
yeah.
DJ talked about like his just looking at him physically. You're like, but then you watch the tape. It's like, oh shit.
The NFL, bro. Sometimes they overthink
Yeah,
things all the
they
fucking time.
they absolutely do. Absolutely overthink things.
Especially when we talked about this on our last non-Patreon episode, especially when it comes to like elite defensive tackles for
Yeah,
whatever reason. It
yeah.
just feels like the tape doesn't matter to them for whatever reason. It's weird. It's a weird
It's
thing.
very weird. Very weird.
Even with even with not saying that I don't even feel like he's even in the same caliber as player as Mason Graham. But I felt like it even happened a little bit last year with Byron
Yeah,
Murphy.
that's what I was thinking about just now. I was like, man, I remember with him because his tape was so good. But even then, where did he go? Like, where did he get drafted?
Seattle,
Seattle.
like
Sure did.
like
Yep.
like 16, and he had like a
Yep.
great combine.
Yep.
So so I think I am going to put Mason Graham, and I think we're probably are going to end up talking about him because I just feel like the NFL, if he again, if Mason Graham does not go to Jacksonville, and if he doesn't go to the Jets, then the Mason Graham watch is going to be on because
Yeah.
could he go to the Raiders? Yeah, maybe, but I just feel like they, with Pete Carroll, like that just feels like a Jalen Walker team. Could he go to the Panthers? Yeah, maybe, but they have. I know, Derek Brown, but he got that injury he's coming off of, and it feels like the Panthers need explosiveness on
Yeah.
defense, especially. And I just
Oh
don't feel
yeah.
like Mason Graham would check that box for them.
Yeah.
And I would say this: if Mason Graham's on the board at 9, bro, I just kind of based on what I know and I've heard, it would be a sprint, bro.
Oh yeah. Boom. There you go.
And would love it, bro. I would
Love it,
be
man.
a stop.
No
And then,
question.
every other pick, I need juice on every other pick.
Juice, baby. Juice. 40, 70, whatever. All of them after that. Just all juice, baby. Need
Um,
it on offense.
yeah. Any anything else as we wrap this up? Obviously, I'm actually packing today because I leave tomorrow.
Mm,
Go to Indy. Looking at the schedule for like the podium for GMs, head coaches, and the players on Tuesday. Well, man, we thought media at Senior Bowl was something that Wednesday.
man. It's gonna be interesting, bro. You're gonna get a chance to at least, you could, ask a lot of, GMs and coaches like some interesting questions, man.
Right.
Like about quarterback development, whatever, like anything. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be interesting, bro. Like I'm glad we're gonna have a presence there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like we said, like hopefully, like this is just a start, right? So if we got allowed to go this year, I guess everyone who's listening to this is a Patreon, watching is a Patreon, but do Patreon mounts up a little bit so we can start getting ready to go for next year. I do want to give a shout out to our dude Jake. I've known Jake dating back to our draft countdown days.
Right.
Yeah, long time. from the Draft Countdown forums, and so he actually reached out. He's going to be in Indy for coaching a track meet 2 hours away, but he's going to help us out and going to be at the combine Friday and Saturday to talk and interview prospects for us, for the podcast, to get content for us. Because I could only be there till Wednesday. Then I got to come back. I got to be back to work, like my actual job on Thursday. So Jake is going to be representing the SVP Friday and Saturday, talking the prospects. He's going to be like, and Friday and Saturday is like, not that, like, it's going to be the, like, not like some good ones, like Milrow, Dart, a lot of good prospects. So he's going to be in the building representing us. So I want to shoot out Jake's Twitter at. So make sure you're following Jake. So he's going to be representing SVP, asking some good questions, getting some good content for us. Appreciate Jake coming through.
Much
You know,
love, Jake.
for sure don't have to do that, but we appreciate you, Jake. But we appreciate y'all. So make sure y'all following everything. All our social medias next week is going to be crazy. Going to try to get as much content as possible. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Gonna try. We're going to do another prospect of the week probably around the same time next weekend. I'll put the poll out. We'll do the vote. We'll do prospect of the week next weekend. We'll get a combine episode in next week at some point as well. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thanks for all the support as always. And with that, we are out.
Peace.